Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Stand for. Oh, I in this song. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. I'm going higher. 50 years we're blessed with much to buy. Still reaching for more. Going up, up. As we aspire, build our successful people together.
Welcome to EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, or generally perceived poorly educated electorate, have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses EDDIE-FICATION to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Through EDDIE-FICATION, we will highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There were some interesting
in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Country Cold Store wishes to advise the general public and its customers that the services of their sales trucks will be unavailable on Thursday, 13th June 2024 to facilitate an important staff training session. Normal operation of the sales trucks will resume on Friday, 14th June 2024. Country Cold Store sincerely apologizes for any inconvenience this closure may cause and thanks the general public for their cooperation and understanding.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks, and welcome to Edification 221 for this beautiful Sunday, the 2nd in June 2024, as we proceed into the hurricane season, predicted by the experts to be a very active one indeed. This does not mean that any of these forecast hurricanes will make landfall. It doesn't mean that. But we have to be prepared as if they all would, so we can mitigate against death, serious injuries, severe damage to property. It is all well and good for us to be gearing up for all of the summer festivities, climaxing, of course, in our National Carnival Festival 2024. But joke is joke. Preservation of life is most important. As soon as you come into the room, folks, remember, do your duty. Greet each other in this wonderful edification community. Share, tag other friends who you would love to appreciate this level of frankness, just like you, as we seek to keep our awareness levels up through desirable motivation and inspiration. Your comments are welcome. So too are your likes, your love, and whatever other reactions you care to share. Prepare yourself to repeat affirmations that I would share from time to time and be as interactive as ever. It is very symbolic, folks, that our edition of Edification is positioned at number 221, which represents personal growth and new opportunities or new beginnings. It is a sign from the universe that you have control over your life and the power to shape it to achieve your goals and manifest your dreams into reality. Trust your intuition, folks, and stay positive to attract new and exciting opportunities. Angel number 221 is a reminder that you're responsible for the life you live. No one is coming to save you. Your life is your responsibility. In numerology, 221 contains a message of empowerment. You have more control over your life than you may even think. It is never too late to start taking initiative, pursuing your long-term goals and dreams, and start building the life that you desire. This message comes from the energies of the numbers 2, 1, 22, and of course 5. Number 2 represents partnerships and balance, and its influence is amplified since it occurs twice in 221. It is a reminder to balance your material and spiritual needs and lean on your relationships, of course the meaningful ones, for support and guidance. Number 1 symbolizes new beginnings, creation, an opportunity. Don't forget, you can give yourself a fresh start in life whenever you need to. Number 22 is a master number called the Master Builder or the Master Architect. This powerful spiritual number represents your ability to manifest your goals and dreams into reality. 221 also reduces to 5, since 2 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5. Number 5 vibrates with creativity, relationships, knowledge, and curiosity, folks. All the abilities you need to build a fulfilling life. Our topic for today's discussion is happiness begins where selfishness ends. Happiness begins where selfishness ends. And the truth is, according to a bold statement made by Bishop Bronner, the happiest people on the planet are generous people. I feel him when he says that when he makes that bold statement. I know quite a few happy people who are generous people and advise one and all to become generous once more. You see, if you really want to explore your own ability to be happy, just try being generous. I know some rich people who understand that their gifts are entrusted to them because theirs are safe hands chosen by the universe to hold and distribute blessings to others at the right time and of the right kind. We don't need a lot to be generous, folks. All we need is the right frame of mind and genuine concern for the welfare of others. This is when we give from what we have, however much or less that may be, and not from the excess. You see, generous people are generally not self-serving and narcissistic. They are the ones who, as a loving mama, a loving grandmother, with a house already full of children, who draw other people's children to her because she would feed them and include them like they were members of her own flock. She embodies a generous spirit, and that is why she is a happy person. I invite you to think about it. Anybody in our culture and in our history that we can identify as a great person, they are not great because of the money they amassed over the years, whether honestly or dishonestly, but because of the service they give. I know this woman who is over 90 now, strong as an ox, and who in her younger years had to divorce her husband, who was a drunk, started living on her own. And to survive, she had to take in children as boarders who came from the countrysides to her central town village to go to school. And she treated them as if they were her own, even though she had children of her own. In fact, one of them, who did very well for himself abroad, visited his homeland one year and made some inquiries of that woman, only to learn that her house was recently burnt and that she was taking a lodging with her sister and husband. And by the order of the universe, he did not like to hear her life had deteriorated to that extent. What did he do? He sought her out until he was able to locate her physically, reintroduced himself to her, took her up to the burnt site, and pledged right there at the site his commitment to rebuild her home for her. Could you imagine that? Needless to say, he fulfilled his pledge and caused her to live the rest of her years in a 3-storied house with 2 income-generating lower floors to sustain her. Stories like these are around, but the genuine givers are never talkers and touters of their generosity. We have to make the decision that we are going to cast our bread upon the water now, with absolutely no expectation, and you would see it coming back tenfold when you least expect it. What was the chance of this now grown and successful man returning at the right time, and upon reflection of how much this lady contributed to his success in life, able to be at the right place at the right time to shorten this lady's worries and concerns for her own future? Goodly folks, we serve a mighty God indeed, who always shows up at the right time. You see, our lives must be of service if we understand the true essence of life. Whatever we have and wherever we are in our lives, we must be of service to others. When, as an underprivileged person, you omit to build your own intellect, sharpen your abilities at survival by positioning yourself for genuine education, not certification, genuine education, you are likely to become prey for those who will use you to their advantage. It was Stephen Biko who said, "The greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed." Isn't that interesting? Isn't that a powerful, powerful quote? I'll put it in the comment section so that you can reflect on it, folks. Reflect on it, because it's a powerful. No one can control anyone physically unless they control them psychologically. We see this all around us as a fallout from people's insistence on not being educated. Not certificated, educated. And that is why so many people are taken and made fools of so easily in our midst, because they refuse to educate themselves, and in so refusing, they become absorbed by con men and con artists. You see, so many little green monsters running around spouting nonsense about things bad in the country since this new government took over. You see, legitimate money started moving in the right direction and away from them as loafers. And so they are very upset. Just recently, we see the insistence of the old nastiness in our parliament making demands for government to deliver a genuine reason to the public as to why it has decided to increase the compulsory school age from 16 to 17 years. Of course, what makes this necessary is the fact that, according to the decent Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, the majority of the unemployed and underemployed in this country are related to the lack of education. Hello? The uneducated are the ones that didn't spend long in the education system. Of course, we have others who wasted their time in the education system. Because, you know, as I told you, their favorite subject was break time, let out, school over, and vacation, holiday. 4 favorite subjects. Those are people who went through the whole school system and nothing stuck. Nothing. Your chance of sticking rice on a dry wall, dry rice on a dry wall, becomes much easier than anything of value sticking in their heads for the period of time they've been to school. But these people can vote, and you know who they'll vote for. And that is an incontrovertible fact. You see, people as vex when they hear me talk, as factual as I come across, not because they hate the facts as much, you know. They hate that it is me sharing it. Several of the comments under that particular release by the news outlet, oh Jesus, you want to seat yourself? Go on now, Grenada, and look for that article where the opposition leader is still looking for a good reason from the government or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. Why the government extended the education age, the age from 16 to 17. Go and look at the comments, folks, but I'll give you a sampling of them. 1, Why make this an issue? Focus on the benefits it would bring to our youth. You're too negative because it's not your idea. I'm in full support of this. We are heading in the right direction. 2, once the students finish secondary school at 16, they would move on to TAM-CC or NULO for 2 years, as most students already do. In Parliament, the PM said, if even it would mean extending NULO so more students get the opportunity to leave school with a skill ready for the job market. So the reason would be less students leaving school unemployable. 3, they will be too smart for you to bribe them with cake and ice cream. 4, let the children take their time and grow. 5, what reason is needed? It's a case whereby a youth can have a better opportunity at education. 6, this makes you wonder whether this guy wants anything good for our country. The reason is simple: to allow students to get skills necessary for life so they can help themselves and their families. And 7, oh Lord, this one takes the cake. Every time I see this man's face, I wish birth control was retroactive. Folks, you know what really and truly is the crux of the matter? When these young people become sensible, the vote farm will be closed, totally closed. No more new entrants, because they would be smarter to know to avoid the old nastinesses vote farm. And if the new Prime Minister, the decent Mitchell, is establishing his own vote farm, the members of the farm will be smart. They will not be headed towards poverty and vulnerability in perpetuity. Hello! What a shame that a so-called leader who can boast of being around the precincts of power for the longest in our post-independence context can attract this level of vitriol from his countrymen. Many of our people know this old saying, what good to say, good to keep, and yet for all are prepared to let it all go when it comes to this reprobate. But again, I'll check yourself so you give it blue. You see, I'm so glad that I already know that genuine leadership only exists if people are given an opportunity to follow when they would have the freedom to not follow. Otherwise, it is just power. And because power is not leadership, it can't end well and never ends well. Thank God that my poor, unlettered mother had the wisdom to bring me up the way she did, so that I could have valued the basics of an education that led me to know the difference between right and wrong, day and night, vinegar and honey, and so on. I thank her for forging a strong relationship and a partnership, I dare say, with Mrs. Joyce Antwine, my 4B teacher in Heinze School back in 1972, when I actually learnt to read properly, to the point where if I could not read, I would not be equipped to do what I do for my life today. Folks, you see, happiness begins where selfishness ends. Let's take a little break and we'll come back with more fire.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to take safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftop and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest beers on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Stand for.
Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. Going higher. 50 years we're blessed with motion fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, up, and more. Going up, going up, going up, 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 up.
As we aspire, build up ourselves for people together. Slowly up.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, 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 folks. And for those of you just joining, I'd like to welcome you to the fold and wish you a happy Sunday. Of course, it's just so beautiful outside. Rain has started falling. You know, the beautiful thing about life is that the things we take for granted are free. And look at how we can't live without them. Last night, rain falling and the neighborhood here clapping like, I thought it was cricket, you know. I thought they were looking at cricket. People clapping as though they were, well, you know, they see rain in 3 years. Beautiful, beautiful. Folks, as soon as you get into the room, share. Comments, come on, let's be interactive. Like, love, do whatever you want to do because this is your program. Welcome back. We all who are conscious today, watch out for all the people who feel disrespected by the things we do to respect ourselves. You see, when people consider us conscious few rather, they consider us difficult. They simply mean we have become too difficult to take advantage of. We have become too difficult to control. You see, the healthy version of us will always be a nuisance to the people who were profiting off the unhealthy version of us. You see, sometimes these people are even members of our family. Sadly, but it's true. I'm hearing daily so many people talking about how family can be the most wicked people in our lives. They are disguised as aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, mothers and fathers too, and cousins, but could very well be the root problem to our lives. If you are not discerning, you can be bound by household witchcraft, messing with your perception, and you cannot really perceive who your mother, auntie, father, etc. really are. Abel could not perceive that Cain, his brother, hated him and was jealous of him. He could not perceive that Cain had motive to kill him. There's so many scriptures in that Bible that many of you love to tote and quote, with stories of brothers killing brothers, selling each other off to slavery. Yet for all, many of us in today's modern life who boast of being Christians are totally oblivious to the dangers that our very own families can and are known to pose to us. All I ask is that you pay attention. Be discerning, folks, because there are some people in your extended family that God will reveal could very well be the root of the demonic influences in your life. Again, pay attention. I see Grashed. But bear with us because, you know, we have this internet situation is really bad. But anyhow, moving right along. Yes. So, Miss Natu, in terms of, yes, children live what they learn. They have it in their DNA. They got it from somewhere. They didn't come and grab it from the sky. So it goes right back to family. Mother, father, aunt, uncle, adults. They got it from somewhere. You see? Pay attention, folks. People who vibrate at a very low level may not understand this. And only when they are attacked with nowhere to run, they will realize what I am saying is true as the gospel. You see, if you really want to experience and exude happiness, you have to first seek peace. And once you attain peace, you will effortlessly encounter happiness all around you. An important first step is to purge yourself of stragglers who mean nothing to you in the strictest sense of the word, but who latch on to you for the privileges your company affords them. Such parasites are takers who would suck the life blood out of you, and before you know it, you are bone dry. Some of you are on your way to being bone dry right now as we speak, and you don't even realize it. You know why? You operate at such low frequencies that you cannot discern when you are made an ass of from when you are really appreciated. The people around you who have genuine appreciation for you would maintain a truly authentic relationship with you. They will tell you as it is and not as you wish it to be. They will even help you genuinely attain your goal without any interest in having you be beholden to them. You see, when you reach to the point of real consciousness, you elect to remain by yourself so that you don't have a chance to hear your personal business from people you did not tell it to. Some of those same people you now stay away from join others to talk about you because they lost the privilege to speak to you. I don't know about you folks, but all you've got to do is to show me that you are a fake, and boom, game over. That's a sure way to preserve the peace you sought where true happiness abound. I recently heard a preacher who said we have to stop picking friends based on fun and instead pick them based on fruit. Connections are not just a resource for enjoyment. It is also a resource for your evolution and growth. Who you are becoming is directly linked to who you hang around. Too many of us go around people who are laughing with us and we with them, but they cannot take us anywhere desirable because the only thing they have to offer is fun, as they have no fruit to take you into your future. You see, even though you are having a good time together, both of you stuck in a fruitless cycle. You had a great weekend, but both of you are weary. If you persist on hanging around only with people who bring you fun, you will surely miss the few who will help you produce fruit. So if you want to talk differently, walk differently, and act differently, you have to seek out some new people who can help you with your growth through real, desirable fruits. You see, Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life, a definitive best-selling book on self-healing, which has transformed the lives of millions of people, came up with a transformative daily prayer or affirmation that he advised each of us to say as soon as we wake up. Quote, All is well. Everything is working out for the highest good. Out of each experience I go through, only good will come to me. I am safe, I am protected, and I am loved. Isn't that a powerful affirmation? Very simple, but it runs deep. I've just posted it for you folks. And the author is Louis Hay. I'll write his name here for you, Louisehey, so that you can have an idea of who the author is. And you could do some research on this particular author. Folks, all is well. Everything is working out for the highest good. Out of each experience I go through, only good will come to me. I am safe, I am protected, and I am loved. You see, this prayer works like magic, because even before you start your day, you are priming your subconscious mind to look for the good in everything that is about to happen in your day. It helps you to shift your perspective and maintain an optimistic approach towards life. In fact, most people give up on you rather. Most people give up too when they face challenges. I have come to believe that every challenge is a blessing and an opportunity that pushes us forward and upward. I recently stumbled on a discussion addressed to his brother Galileo, where the Stoic philosopher Seneca lays down the path to happiness. What are basics of happiness? What is the path to happiness? How to handle pleasure? How to practice virtue? How to enjoy money that may come your way? And most of all, how to understand yourself. I am only able to give you a summary of the dialogue taken from the book Stoic Happiness, a plain English version of Seneca's discourse on happiness. Folks, I have found in this entire sharing that I too have some work to do in a couple of areas. And for our benefit, I share them because you know what they say. The best way to learn something is to teach it. The basics of happiness. 1, don't follow the crowd. Most people are unaware of things that will make them happy, but they think they are. So they give us untested advice. If we follow others, we will be led astray and will end up being unhappy. What should you do? Give your mind some breathing room. It will figure out what is good for it. 2, you don't have to go far to find happiness. Happiness is very close to us. When you stop being alarmed and excited by petty things, you will be continuously free and calm. Don't get carried away by short-term pleasures. Act in line with human nature. This means 3 things. Keep your mind bold and vigorous. Endure things with courage when needed. And take care of your body and how it looks. But don't obsess over it. The path to happiness. 3, understand that what is good comes from your mind and not from the outside. Recognize good and bad only if they come from your mind. Keep your mind free, undisturbed and firm. Don't get carried away by pain or pleasure. Carry around an open mind and you're sure to see and feel the difference. 4, deal with what is in front of you. Deal with what is clearly in front of you and don't be swayed by fear, hope, or desires. Be content with the present, because it is the present that informs every other time. 5, be single-minded in pursuing virtue. Take care of your body and other good things that you have, but don't let them rule you. Remember, pleasure comes from virtue and not the other way around. How to handle pleasures. 6, use pleasure, but don't indulge in it. Cheerfulness does not come from excessive pleasure, but from a modest enjoyment of it. You cannot face life's challenges by indulging in excessive pleasure. Avoid vicious forms of pleasure such as arrogance, boasting, insulting, and sloth. When you are a prisoner of pleasure, you postpone other things and trade freedom for pleasure. When you use knowledge rather than pleasure as your guide, you will want nothing. You will be free and you will face no misfortune. How to pursue virtue? 7. Pursue virtue even if you are criticized for it. You will be criticized if you follow virtue, but don't give up because good thoughts result in good things. 8. Live by these rules. Don't hoard and don't squander. Things gain value when you give them to others. Don't do anything in private you will be ashamed to do in public. Be pleasant and gentle with your enemies. Forgive vulnerability. Meet people halfway. Do according to your conscience and not according to what others might think. Don't damage your or anyone else's freedom. How to enjoy money? 9. Admit money into your home, not into your heart. Hello? That's deep. Because so many people, money is right up there with oxygen. It's sad. Admit it into your home because it's a tool to be used, but it is not something to govern you. When you let money enter your heart and infiltrate your very being, it becomes your ruler. You don't have to stop enjoying material things as long as you don't become attached to them. You are not condemned to poverty, but earn honorably and share with others. Don't thief to earn, because you will always have to be remembering the last lie you told. You have to be covering tracks when you gain what you gain dishonestly. You always have to be fighting up. You always have to be in the news, seeing how you could continue to pull wool over people's eyes, because you're just a thief, an old thief. You see, you are not condemned to poverty, folks. And as I said, you must earn honorably and share with others. Wealth can be used for good purposes and therefore has value. But make sure you own your wealth and it doesn't own you. Money is desirable, but it is not a good or a commodity. 10. Money doesn't make you important. Poverty does not demean you either. Life's ups and downs do not matter. Be moderate in your desires rather than suppressing your sorrows. When you are poor, know how to fight. When you are wealthy, be gentle. Don't get attached to wealth. Don't mind other people's insults. How to understand yourself? 11. Don't criticize others, but understand yourself. Instead of being critical of others, understand how your mind is whirled around and spun about by some hurricane, and how you alternate between hope and despair, because that's what we do daily. 12, prepare yourself for misfortunes. Understand the shape you are in. Misfortune can strike you at any time. Be prepared. Folks, as I said earlier, I too have some work to do in a couple of areas, which I will embark on working on with happy speed, because I really like Seneca's sharing there. Folks, you could imagine if I could not read. You could imagine if I were out here presenting these mental multivitamins to you, and I have to pick because I can't read them properly. But yet for all, I offer myself in this position without being equipped and with a total lack for capacity to deal with it. Folks, that has to be sad. And you know, we have some people who do that. Talk like they have one of grand leg plank in their mouth, but they're outside here, running live. Can't read, dress up like clown, but out here. Folks, we're really sad, you know. But happiness begins where selfishness ends. Let's take a little break here, folks, and we come right back. Oh, fire. Let's take a little quick break here.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Stand for.
Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. Going higher. 50 years we're blessed with fortune fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, 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 going up, going up, going up, 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 higher. Going higher. As we aspire, build up ourselves, put people together. Bang, bang, bang. Only up.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And of course, for those of you who are very interactive here today, I'm glad that I'm able to, you know, make this sacrifice to share with you as often as I do, because you really are showing your appreciation, and I appreciate you for being appreciative of all that I'm sharing with you when I have the time so to do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sawandi, it's always lovely to have you in the room, but you need to check your WhatsApp. I just sent you a message. Study your head. Folks, welcome back. And for those of you just joining and you don't know what to do, greet the community on edification. Greet each other. We have a family here. This is a wonderful, you know, edification family. Greet each other. Tag your friends and just make sure you hit that share button. Good. The same way you found out about it because somebody shared with you, you need to share with others. Welcome back. Folks, I am a firm believer that we need to carry around with us an open mind for fear that we continue to confront the slavery of the mind, which is proving to be far more engulfing than slavery of the body can ever be dangerous to us. We cannot destroy the relics of colonialism until we address the internal contradictions in ourselves and in our communities that allow colonialism and dominance of the race that makes us feel it is superior to ours flourish around us. It was Dr. Carter J. Woodson who said, if you control a man's thinking, you don't have to worry about his actions. This is the heavy impact colonialism has had on our thinking, even as long after emancipation as to this day. Now that the government has addressed and increased the age of students to 17 by law. It is incumbent on them to address with alacrity, happy speed that is, the curriculum to make it relevant to our development and divorce us from the colonial education system that has not and is not working for us. Steve Biko, as I alluded to earlier, put it this way: the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. It is proved that you cannot control a people physically unless you can control them psychologically. So in many ways, we enable colonialism. Look at how we bow down to everything imported and disregard most, if not everything, that we produce here locally. Look at how we have little to no respect and regard for one another from right here among us and embrace others from the outside. Look at how we gravitate towards those of lighter complexions and straighter hair and show scant courtesy to our very own chocolate tan with all its natural attributes therewith and therein. Interestingly, because of the well-learned infusion of self-hate inculcated in us over centuries and handed down to modern generations, that level of conditioning has us where we are today, giving life to the old saying, a prophet has no honor in his own environment. It is unfortunate that our standards for beauty, success, and happiness et al. Are dependent on what has been instilled in our minds by colonial cultures and passed on through DNA to all of us today. A few people around who are carving out their own success and happiness and recognizing their own sense of beauty while establishing their own boundaries and living purely their own way are objected to on account of this inherent faulty colonial conditioning. And so even our own people resent them just because they refuse to live the colonially accepted normal. As this Black American philosopher, Dr. John Henry Clark, said, quote, "Education has one honorable purpose. Everything else is a waste of time. The role of education is to train the student to be a proper handler of power. For a people to be truly independent, they must be products of an independent education system. For if they remain dependent on other people's educational system, they are simply dependent on other people's information and knowledge. No other people feed into another people the kind of information and knowledge that give that people the ability to dominate them." Unquote. The same goes for con artists who pose as leaders and take to brainwashing their supporters to the point of having them remove all doubt that they are dumb, dunce, and stupid when they speak in defense of such wicked and evil leaders. You see this here regularly with dum-dums dominating the attack packs of pothounds on behalf of the old nastiness. We who know better need to speak up and share our knowledge with the majority of sheep who are contented to just go along feeling the way they think and live is the only way it has to be. Could you imagine? We have leaders over the years who rose up among us and reigned supreme through mass acceptance, who used the principles of control as prescribed by the colonials to psychologically enslave our people and develop cult followings because of the ability to deprive them of genuine education in order to perpetually control their minds while dumping them on a vote farm. Of course, the one most guilty of this happens to be the most recent, that old nastiness. And that is why self-knowledge is so powerful, as we saw demonstrated by Cassius Clay turned Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, Nelson Mandela, Bishop Desmond Tutu, Bob Marley, etc. And we are seeing by people today, like Professor Patrick Lumumba, that Kenyan outspoken lawyer and Pan-Africanist. Folks, we are seeing how anger has been wrecking relationships of sour leaders who cannot stand to lose. Right here in Grenada, we have the worst example of this after a youthful, well-meaning leader rose up and with the support of a majority was able to evict a long-standing infidel, that old nastiness, who became so complacent that when he least expected it, was jettisoned convincingly, even though his state of denial has been so prolonged. We have seen how massively destructive anger has been to this same individual, who no outside attempt at destruction could have ever been as successful as the self-destruction he imposes on himself. You see, just recently I was in conversation with a one-time die-hard cult member, a green juice drinker, whom I am at liberty to so refer, who has had no choice but to agree with me that it is a crying shame how the old nastiness has ended up after so many years in elective politics with all the successes of historic proportions by way of winning elections in a post-independence context. Anger alone has been wrecking all his relationships, to the point where many of his inner circle have come to believe that a very many of them were purely transactional, and the rest probably based on fear that he may come back, and they don't want to be in his evil, the quadrant of, reactions. If that were to happen, again, what does that reduce to? A form of transactional, with the transaction not yet closed. You see, lust for things to include status and money, to the point where the wrong people have been attracted to the life of people like that. Imagine this one fleshly attribute, which acts like a virus, can wreck you into pieces. We really need to stop celebrating bad things and bad people. We just need to change. If you find out something in you is not good, or someone around you is not good, what are you trying to justify? Accept that it is no darn good and change. You see, many of us tend to be looking for blessings in all the wrong places. In fact, I believe that many are beginning to realize that blessings are not likely to come from people we trust and love only. In fact, blessings come more readily from people we don't even know and from whom we least expect them. You want to know why? The people we know are among the many who usually have bad intentions for us. They are the ones who measure us and gauge our progress to ensure that we are kept in line to not do as well as they do. The people we don't know have no bad intentions for us because they don't know us. But those we know tend to want to limit us so we remain under their capacity. Jan van Zandt, on knowledge and self-sabotage, teaches us that it is dangerous, spiritually dangerous, to believe that everyone is wrong and you are right. Granted, there are times when you go into a situation with the best of intentions, when you work hard, give your all, and things do not turn out the way you expected them to turn out. It is even possible for it to appear that people are against you, out to get you, doing their best to do you in. However, it is dangerous, spiritually dangerous, for you to believe that everyone else is wrong and you're right. Always remember, the most difficult adversary And the biggest obstacle that can teach you a powerful lesson, if only you would stop focusing on the disappointing incident and focus instead on the beneficial growth from the experience. You see, when we only want to seek sweet revenge through taking up arms in opposition to people and conditions, we run the risk of missing the lesson. If we judge people by their behavior, criticize them because of their different opinions and approaches, it is easy to become self-righteous. We can easily identify what we do that is correct in the face of others that we deem incorrect. What is not always so easy to see is how challenging people and situations can strengthen us. We become frustrated, often angry, when we cannot get people to see our way or to be the way we believe they should be. In the process, we miss the opportunity to be patient, tolerant, or even cooperative. But in the most challenging situations, we actually overlook a golden opportunity to see a new way, do a new thing that can be most dangerous and damaging to the spirit. That is why it is said, every point is a good point. Folks, happiness begins where selfishness ends. We come back with our next segment. Well, let's take a little breather here. Very, very important breather.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for.
Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. Going higher. 50 years we're blessed with motion fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, up, and more. Going up, going up, going up, 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 up. Higher. Going higher. As we aspire, build up ourselves, put people together. Bang, bang, bang. Slowly up.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Oh, yes, folks. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We have so many things to discuss and so little time. Folks, when I was growing up, a day used to be very, very long. Now I find a whole week is like a day. A day is like an hour. It goes so quickly. As soon as Saturday night reaches, like Monday is around the corner, you know. It's like Sunday just disappears in your mind because there's so many things to do and so little time in which to do it. And that is one of the reasons why I cannot understand why people waste so much time, precious time, minding people's business. Some people really have their belly, you know. And the people whose business you're minding most of the time, the people doing better than you. The only reason why those people don't eat 4 meals a day is because, well, they only eat 3 meals a day rather, is because they can't hold 4. And you who have the time to mind people's business don't even have a good one to eat. Focus on you now. Folks, it's a moral duty to be happy. However, we cannot exercise this duty by clutching unrealistic beliefs, struggling with unworkable assumptions, juggling pain images, jumping to false conclusions, running with impulsive decisions, or massaging hasty judgments. Too often we expect happiness to come as a result of our relationships rather than as a premise upon which to build one. If we truly wanted to be happy, we would not be so eager to sacrifice happiness for nonsense jealousy, possessiveness, anger, fear, or any other function of the ego. Nonsense renders us downright miserable. Happiness requires that we be honest, trusting, trustworthy, respectful, and mutually considerate. We cannot realize true happiness when we entertain nonsense in our hearts and minds, folks. Individually and collectively, we must work to clear ourselves before entering a relationship. I mean, I don't know lovey man and woman relationship, just a relationship period. If we wait until we are in the process of wading through the nonsense, the ego will be well on the way to eroding the happiness we seek. Jesus, that many of you would love others to believe you really consider, said, quote, if you want to be great in the kingdom, if you want to live a blessed life, there's a simple key. You have to serve other people. He wasn't talking about an event that happens every once in a while. He was talking about a lifestyle in which you live to help others and you're always looking for ways to serve. You see, when you live a serve others lifestyle, you help friends, volunteer in your community, take care of loved ones. It's not something you have to force yourself to do. It is not something you do as a transaction to get something in return. It becomes a part of who you are. You develop an attitude of giving to everyone you meet. You'll have true happiness and fulfillment when you live to give, not only to receive. You see, many people are not happy because they are focused only on themselves. The old nastiness, for instance, he could never be happy. It's all about my dreams. It's all about my goals. It's all about my problems. That self-centered focus will limit you. You were created to give. God has put people in your life on purpose so that you can be a blessing to them. You see, every morning you should ask, God, what is my assignment today? Help me to see the people that you want me to be good to. The story is told of this man who said he has known his friend Johnny his whole life, more than 40 years. He's constantly serving others. He's always running somebody to the airport, taking a friend to dinner, or helping someone on a project. Come on, we know people like that. But it's a pity they're few and far between. When his father was on dialysis, if one of the family members couldn't take him to the clinic, they would ask Johnny, and he'd gladly do it. He called Johnny one hot Saturday afternoon. When Johnny answered the phone, it was very noisy in the background. He asked him, where are you? Johnny said, I'm on the top of a house, man. My friend's next door neighbor is an elderly lady, and we told her we would re-roof our house this weekend. So here am I, on top of the roof. He didn't even know the old lady. She was just the neighbor of a friend. But Johnny has developed his mentality to serve others. You see, when you serve others, you're serving God. How many of you know someone like that? Come on, folks. I came to the realization that happiness is something you don't search for. in certain things or in certain people. It is something you can see in yourself when you get out of bed in the morning, excited about your plans for the day, or just feeling thankful for a good day. You see, you can see it when you travel. Take long walks, drink your coffee, and see your favorite people. That's what happiness does to you. You can see it. You may not realize it, but you are in control of your own happiness. So this is your sign today to stop placing the responsibility for happiness on other people. You see, when you find joy in the small things in life, happiness will find its way into your life without your awareness. And for me, that is the definition of true happiness. Folks, as I seek to provide positive fodder for you to build yourself, allow me to share these 10 lessons from the book Self-Confidence and Self-Esteem by Sue Ellen. You see, I can read and do read. So when I talk, it is not nonsense I speak, like so many pothomes around us. 1, believe in the power of self-confidence and self-esteem. Acknowledge that self-confidence and self-esteem play crucial roles in achieving success. 2, act now, not later. Don't procrastinate or pursuing your dreams. Act now and make them a reality. 3, overcome roadblocks. Learn strategies to overcome obstacles that stand in the way of your success. 4, understand the concept of success. Gain a deeper understanding of what success means to you personally. 5, learn from life experiences. Reflect on your past experiences to glean valuable lessons that can guide you towards success. 6, accept new discoveries. Stay open to new ideas and discoveries that can enhance your path to success. 7, explore scientific insights. Utilize scientific findings to understand how to optimize your chances of success. 8, develop emotional intelligence. Practice emotional intelligence to navigate challenges and relationships more effectively. 9, appreciate the role of humor. A little laughter here and there. Understand the role of humor and the role it plays in maintaining a positive outlook and resilience. And 10, recognize the importance of persistence and originality. Embrace persistence and original thinking as key to achieving your goals while remaining authentic. As I close here today, folks, I admonish you to pay close attention to how you express your gratitude, as it safeguards you from becoming a negative, caustic, toxic, narcissistic, cynical, pessimistic person. Gratitude causes you to ignore the circumstances you were born into. And even though you end up being raised by someone else, you can hold your head up high and become who you were meant to be, while being grateful to the people who took on that responsibility to raise you. I do know people who received of the kindness of others and managed to enjoy a successful life today, who are among the kindest and sweetest people you will ever know. It is gratitude that safeguards your heart against negativity, narcissism, pessimism, and conmanship. You see, your problem in life cannot be fixed if you do not first fix your focus. That which you focus on the longest in your life becomes the strongest. It grows. Focus on fixing your physical health, your finances, your relationships, your education. Focus on fixing how you think. Focus on fixing your life. In other words, focus on your own goddamn business and stop focusing on other people's business. Haven't you noticed that you focusing on other people's affairs is not getting you anywhere? Haven't you noticed that probably other people who know you are focusing on them are actually going out of their way to give you more things to focus on, while nothing desirable is going on in your life, because you become what do you become? A slave to them. There is power in focus. Don't you ever forget that. Because whatever you focus on expands. You see, there are 3 reasons why strangers are more likely to help you than people you know. Strangers have a clean slate. It is no secret that as people we evolve and we grow. Strangers accept you for who you are, whereas people you know hold on to their memory of who you are. They refuse to accept that you can be something different. When they see you trying to step outside the box that they put you in, they get upset and they refuse to support you. In their mind, you are trying to be someone you are not. They would come to your shop, if you have a shop, to credit your goods with no intention of paying you, or even to demand huge discounts. And when you refuse, they will go to another shop and buy at full price without complaining. Because their job is to see if they could diminish you. Because they knew you when you did not have. And they want to see if they could help bring you back to not having. 2, social comparison bias. You see, that is when a person validates themselves on whether they are doing better or worse than someone else. So if they start in the same place as you, where they were always able to look down on you, they are not going to support the idea of you surpassing them. That means they will have to go from looking down on you to looking up at you. And what would that do to their own self-esteem? Folks, we know people like that. We live among them. They now see you as competition, the 3rd one. You see, if you are working on the same field, in the same field, pursuing the same thing, they won't support you because they want those opportunities for themselves. The only way to be successful is to say, I don't need their support. I am going to do this with or without them. You see, when you mindlessly attach yourself to others while not paying attention, and that is our greatest downfall in this country, we do not pay attention. We are not programmed to listen for what is not said, to see what is not there. When you are not paying attention, you get sucked into the manipulative flow. And there goes your life, down, down, down. Watch who you are following, folks. I found this pearl of wisdom recently and thought, what a magnificent piece. And listen to it, folks. I heard a mother asking the neighbors for salt, but we had salt in the house. I asked her why she was asking the neighbors for salt. And she answered me, because our neighbors don't have a lot of money and often they ask us for something. From time to time, I also ask them for something small and inexpensive so that they feel we need them too. This way, they will feel more comfortable and it is easier for them to keep asking us for everything they need. Respect for human dignity is undoubtedly one of the oldest feelings. That's exactly what I learned from my parents. Let's build empathetic, humble, supportive children and other values to be valued. Credit must go to the original owner, whoever that may be. Because you know, all these profound things that you find sometimes in the stratosphere are written by and shared by unknowns. That's how humble these people are. They put them out there without their names. I end with this one, folks. Once there was a farmer who sold a pound of butter to a baker every week. After several weeks of purchasing butter from the farmer, the baker decided to weigh it to see if it were indeed a full pound. After weighing it, he discovered that it fell short of a pound. Enraged, he felt cheated, and he decided to take his method. Humbly replied, "Your Honor, I am poor. I do not own an exact measuring tool. However, I do have a scale." The judge then inquired if the farmer used a scale to measure the butter. The farmer replied, "Your Honor, I have been buying a 1 pound loaf of bread from that baker long time before he began purchasing butter from me. Whenever he brings bread, I place it on the scale and then measure out the same weight in butter to give him in return. So if the baker is not receiving a pound of butter, he is also not delivering a pound of bread as he promised." What's the moral of that particular sharing, folks? You get what you give. So if you try to cheat others out of what you promised them, you will be cheated in return. Isn't this playing out before us since the 23rd of June 2022, which has caused our true and genuine happiness to begin where selfishness of the old nastiness ended? I'm in, I'm out, and I'm gone. Thanks for joining. Continue to share. See you next week at the same time and same place for more extraordinary programming. Until then, stay safe, stay well, remain vigilant and lifted. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in my name, Edward or Eddie Frederick. Subscribe, like, and share. And be prepared to receive your mental multivitamins as straight up as I deliver them. Thank you, thank you, thank you, all of you, for joining today. Keep sharing because this is available. It's going to be there on my page. Keep sharing. Make sure you get it. Just a bit of a breaking news item that basically said a particular person has been served papers demanding that he repays the government, as he had agreed to, the over $150,000 in phone bills that he acquired illegally with the knowledge of his then boss. He has 90 days to pay or face jail. We are going to be seeing if his boss is going to abandon him, because that particular individual is one of the attack potongs out there, spouting nonsense and spewing lies. Hello? That is such a beautiful piece of breaking news. Folks, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Just remember, you will receive your mental multivitamins as straight up as I deliver them. Toodaloo. Have a great week. Enjoy yourselves, folks. Life is good, and then we die. But let us live a good life first, and let us make sure that our happiness begins where our selfishness ends. All the very best.
Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This has been Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy, For too long now, our generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses edification to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people highlight the importance of appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Country Cold Store wishes to advise the general public and its customers that the services of their sales trucks will be unavailable on Thursday, 13th June 2024 to facilitate an important staff training session. Normal operation of the sales trucks will resume on Friday, 14th June 2024. Country Cold Store sincerely apologizes for any inconvenience, closure caused, and thanks the general public for their cooperation and understanding.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employee. Expensive. Try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance, increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island. Best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters. Friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Stand for.
Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we behind.